Then Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
A big congratulations to our own Director of Inspectorate and Compliance, Engineer Obiora Manafa. Accept the best wishes of the Director General and staff of the SON. Feedback is next, and Halimot Osifo is our guide.
Hello, and nice to have you on the feedback segment of the program. I am Halimot Osifo. We strive to be the best and desire the good things of life. But the question is, how do you know the best things? Through standards. Standards can be described as a benchmark for quality. They specify characteristics or performance levels of products, processes, services, or systems. In Nigeria, Standards Organization of Nigeria is the highest standard body vested with the responsibility of elaborating and enforcing standards for various products and processes. These technical standards are developed based on agreements reached by diverse entities such as the Standards Organization of Nigeria, public authorities, researchers, consumers, and interest groups. SON conducts training to support organizations in the understanding and use of standards to enable them access the benefits for their organization or sector. Therefore, as a manufacturer or importer, you are expected to comply with the available Nigerian industrial standards. Imagine a world without standards. Standards facilitate everyday life and make businesses better. Standards provide a roadmap to better regulation. Standards makes products better and give customers value for their money. Standards give consumer confidence that products are safe, reliable, and of good quality. Linda from Abuja says, I bought a new mattress with the brand name Continental 2 months ago. I have not enjoyed it since as it keeps sinking in as I sit or lie down. Thank you so much, Linda, for reaching out to us. Please go back to the point of purchase where you bought the products from and make a complaint. If nothing is done to address the situation, you can go to SON office in Abuja with your proof of purchase and we'll take it up from there. Uzo Amaka from Pasakwa says, I watched the program talking about plastic bottle recycling. How do I reach them to submit the ones I have collected? Thank you so much, Uzo Amaka, for reaching out to us. The technical committee meeting you watched was on standards for recycled PET bottle. You are advised to go to any of SON's offices near you for information on where to take your used PET bottles to. Anonymous messenger says, why do they write 100 yards on electric cables when it's not up to 60 yards? That's a case of false declaration and it's aimed at cheating consumers, which SON is totally against. We have had series of raids to take off bad electric cables off the shelves, and just 3 weeks ago, the DG of SON met with manufacturers of cables in Nigeria to admonish those found in criminal acts to stop or face the wrath of the law. In Owerri alone, we have been able to evacuate substandard electric cables worth 500 million naira, and we will continue to do more to ensure that we sanitize the markets of fake electric cables. And that concludes this week's episode of the program, Standard and You. 0705-972-4455 is the number to send in your messages to with your full name and location. Tag along with us on Facebook at Standard and You, Instagram and Twitter at Standard and You _. Remember, we have a vibrant YouTube channel where you can watch previous episodes online at youtube.com/Standard and You. Don't just view, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. As always, buy original, sell authentic, and use only the best. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Why you dey buy fake product, make you dey careful, no go damage your life. You've got one life to live. Buy original. You should know where to go.
This is Oja Village. Its history is the history of 5,000 inhabitants that have come together.
Who are the troublemakers? Eh? are the troublemakers? And who are the people who are not lovers of peace and concord?
Madam ASP. Hey, I'm glad to see you here for my bow. I beg you, can help me give you ASP drink? Me, I will pay the money.
Amebo means the favorite wife of a man who has more than one wife. She's the one the man tells everything.
Originally, the program set out to entertain, to take the village headmaster's situation in any of our villages and reveal to everybody the things that went on.
A special documentary on the 50 years anniversary of the iconic drama series The Village Headmaster, showing on the NTA Network service Wednesday, 23rd October 2019 at 8:05 p.m. Watch out.
Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have an existing business or great business idea? Then Africa's Young Entrepreneurs Empowerment Nigeria, ION, is a program for you, where thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs will be empowered with business funding, mentorship, specialized skills training, and equipment. To register for the ION 2019 program, visit www.ion.ng. Fill in your personal and business details, check your email frequently, and follow us on all our social media platforms for regular updates. For more information, visit www.ayen.ng or call 070-0044-4444. ION 2019, showcasing and empowering Nigerian entrepreneurs.
Hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
the place that unites Nigeria.
Nigeria, the giant of Africa, covers a total land area of about 923,768 square kilometers. 910,768 square kilometers is covered by land, while water takes the remaining 13,000 square kilometers. The entire country is highly blessed as it enjoys benefits brought by the vegetation zones that nature has gracefully endowed Nigeria with. From the rain.
Hello, we're glad to have you join us on the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja at this time. I'm Ruth Aguele. Let's begin with the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari leaves Abuja for Sochi, Russian Federation, ahead of the 3-day Russia-Africa summit. Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, says federal government is committed to press freedom. Plus, African Development Bank president urges African countries to ensure the success of African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. All right, let's get the news and details. President Muhammadu Buhari has left Abuja for Sochi, Russian Federation, ahead of the 3-day Russia-African summit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president was sent off at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by the Minister of the FCT, Mohammed Musa Bello, his Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, and other senior government officials. Accompanied by the governors of Ekiti, Gombe, and Zamfara states, the president is expected to join other African leaders at the summit, focusing on exploring and expanding opportunities in security, trade and investment, science and technology, as well as gas production. During the summit, President Buhari will hold bilateral discussions with President Vladimir Putin of Russia to further strengthen relations in security, trade and investment, and build a partnership that will enhance Nigeria's huge gas potential. An African Business Forum, which will bring together African and Russian business leaders, will also be held towards enhancing Russian investments in Africa and promoting African business interests in the Russian Federation. Back home on judiciary, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted the request of the convener of Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Sowore, that the bail conditions imposed on him should be varied. Now, this follows his inability to meet the conditions of his bail. Olabode Arewa has the details.
Taking a cue from the recent ruling by a Federal High Court in Abuja, with varied bail conditions earlier imposed on a detained journalist, Mr. Jones Abiri, Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who is the counsel to Omoyele Sowore and Olawale Bakare, told the court that his clients have not been able to fulfill the bail conditions. Falana argued that Sowore and Bakare's livelihoods were in jeopardy due to their continued detention. Counsel to the DSS, Azan Liman, SAN, however, argued that there were no compelling reasons to ask for bail variation. Relying on the case of Asari Dokubo versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Liman argued that the freedom of speech and the freedom of association being touted by Sowore were not superior to national security. In consideration of the discretionary powers of the court, the presiding judge, Justice Ijoma Ojukwu, vacated the requirement for Sowore's sureties to deposit 50 million naira with the court registry. The court also reduced Bakare's bail to 20 million naira.
Neither of them is now required to get a surety to deposit money in line with the decisions of higher courts.
The initial deposit of 50 million naira shall no longer be paid, but they shall execute security for bond.
Omoyele Sowore and Olawale Bakare were arraigned by the DSS on charges of treasonable felony and causing insult to the president. The case is adjourned to the 6th and 7th of November for accelerated hearing. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
And talking health now, in an effort to encourage Nigerians to imbibe the habit of regular medical checkup, a 2-day free screening camp organized by the Apollo Hospitals, Chennai, India, has commenced in Abuja. Hakima Taliu reports that this collaboration with the Zenith Medical and Kidney Center afforded FCT residents the opportunity to take advantage of the international intervention to know their health status.
Health lays the foundation for a vibrant and productive nation. Hence, the importance of providing healthcare service to the people cannot be overemphasized. Little wonder FCT residents are taking advantage of the free medical screening by the Apollo Hospitals, Chennai, India, at the Zenith Medical and Kidney Center.
I have not been a patron of regular checks, but this opportunity just came my way. And I believe with distance I'll be able to get to know my health better and have a better sense of well-being.
Before now I have a health challenge which has to do with my spine, so I felt it's something I should take advantage.
I came to see the doctor because I have epilepsy. So I came with my mommy.
The screening camp has 3 specialists who will be attending to different health concerns.
Here we are in a visit to see patients having ailments pertaining to brain, spine, and spinal cord. So what we see routinely as diseases affecting these organs. Many of them may be coming with headache, some of them may be with fits or seizures, some of them may be having paralytic attacks.
Apollo Hospital, India, they saw that we have quite a bit of facility here.
The Apollo Hospitals, Chennai, India, has been in the forefront of offering quality health care service of international standards to Nigerians.
That's a hospital that has greatly impacted my life. I'm here with my sisters, with so many people who actually benefited over there in Chennai, and they are here too, so that we can be, attended to.
Founded by Dr. Pratap Reddy in 1983, is a frontline healthcare service provider which has 73 hospitals with over 60 specialties. Like they say, health is wealth, and this window of opportunity is open for 2 days to enable FCT residents know their health status to take necessary steps. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
And joining us live in the studio to talk more on the essence of this free screening camp and how to be part of it is Dr. Muthu, a chief pediatric cardiologist and adult congenital interventional cardiologist from Apollo Hospital, Chennai, India. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Muthu.
Hi, Nigeria. It's a pleasure to meet everyone here. We've been coming to Nigeria for past 6 years. When we came initially.
Okay, I was going to ask you a question
yes,
now. I was just welcoming you to the news. Now, you just started the 2-day screening program. Why the choice for Nigeria, especially at this time?
I've been coming. I'm not new to Nigeria. I've been a half Nigerian now. Last 6 years, I've been to Nigeria. If in Nigeria, about out of 1,000 babies, 8 babies are born with heart disease. The heart disease burden is heavy. Initially, we were helping the Nigerian doctors to identify the disease, and a lot of children came to Chennai for surgery. We also trained a lot of doctors. Around 25 doctors have been trained all over Nigeria. Now, this is an mission to give Nigeria the surgical expertise, so that the surgery is done in Nigeria itself, so the children doesn't need to travel to India.
Okay, so how can people take advantage of this program?
So by this program, if they see, they can come and see me. I'm here in Zenith Medical Center for next 2 days. We identify the heart disease. If the heart disease is quite simple or major, we can do it easily in Nigeria itself, in Abuja. If they have complex heart diseases, then they may have to travel to India. But we hope and we want to make Nigeria self-sufficient in the near future.
Now, is it just going to be Abuja, or will you extend this gesture to all the states in the country?
Not only Abuja, I've traveled extensively in Nigeria, starting from Lagos, Abuja, I've been to Patakot, Baelsa, and Jos also. So we have trained doctors all over Nigeria. So we are targeting each and every area every other month. I travel maybe every 2 months to Nigeria to do surgeries and do interventions here and to share the expertise so the children can be identified at an earlier stage and they can have surgery as soon as possible.
Okay, so after this, what next? What should Nigerians expect?
For example, now we are in Zenith Medical Center, we are going to identify this heart disease and then what we do is we analyze the local expertise. Once the local expertise is identified, then we will come as a team and do the surgeries in Nigeria, and if we feel that some children would have to travel to India for some isolated expertise, they may have to travel. So by this we exchange our program like skills, make the doctors in Nigeria more self-sufficient and then move forward to have more technology available in Nigeria to treat this heart disease.
Okay, what about those who are having major issues of heart disease? What is their fate?
The heart disease basically is, I told you about out of 1,008 children are born. So every year this is happening and the disease burden is going along. And moreover, the rheumatic heart disease is also affecting the heart disease of children. So there's a huge burden. And if we don't treat them at the right time, they may not have a normal lifespan. So it's important to identify them and treat them at the right time.
Okay, so this collaboration, how long are we looking at in terms of the term?
So actually we have been associated with Nigeria at different levels. So I told last 6 years we want to make Nigeria self-sufficient in doing pediatric cardiac work, and that's the aim and goal. Till then we'll be having collaboration.
Okay, just before we let you go, what's your advice to people out there in taking care of their health?
So you have to look after your children, look for symptoms. If your child is having frequent chest infections, is slightly blue in the tongue or not growing well, not putting on weight, these are symptoms of heart disease. Please go to a doctor, make sure you have a scan done. Nigeria is good. Now we can have a diagnostic facility, we can diagnose a heart problem and we can treat it, and babies can be normal after this surgery. They can need a normal life. So early identification is very important for all these heart diseases.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muthu. You're doing a good job there and we commend your efforts. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Muthu is a chief pediatric cardiologist and adult congenital interventional cardiologist from Apollo Hospital, Chennai, India. All right, let's move on. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the federal government is not in any guise inching towards gagging the Nigerian media. The minister restated this when he visited management of the Sun newspapers in Lagos. Let's hear from Anthony Forson.
Describing the media as partners in the Nigerian project, Lai Mohammed said it is unacceptable for media practitioners to encourage hate speech and promote fake news.
Today, fake news and hate speech has a real, present and imminent threat to the very survival of this country. That's why I've come once again to solicit your support in our fight, our battle and crusade against fake news and hate speech.
He restated that the presidential recommendation for the NBC reforms is born out of genuine concern to sanitize the broadcast industry and eliminate monopoly for a healthy growth and practice.
Today, with the industry being liberalized, we've seen the advantages of technology and liberalization. But unfortunately, in the broadcast industry today, we still have a lot of monopoly, and the monopolies everywhere in the world in the broadcast industry has been broken. It's been broken. It's not enough for you to have the financial strength or financial might.
Responding to questions on the current partial border closure by the federal government, the minister said it is in the interest of the nation and a deliberate move to save the nation's economy from saboteurs. Managing Director and Editor-in-Chief of the Sun newspapers, Onuoha Uke, expressed gratitude for the visit and commended the minister for the insight he has provided on government's programs and policies. He, however, appealed for consistent interface between government and the media for a broader understanding of government's intentions. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In other news, Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation is sustaining partnerships with relevant groups towards the realization of key components of the civil service strategies and implementation plan. Now, in furtherance of these objectives, members of the National Council on Establishment are participating in a special capacity building program facilitated by Chartered Institute of Personnel Management in Abuja. Kelvin has the details.
A sign of familiarity and friendship between the Office of the Head of Civil Service and the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. Now, that is being taken further to a partnership that will improve human resource as a critical element in driving development. Constant evaluation and evolving new strategies are what the acting head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yebieson, wants to stress in the implementation of ongoing reforms in the civil service.
There's a change. Civil servants should try to understand the end result of that change process and key into it.
So our collaboration is to help to accelerate the change, to drive the belief.
For members of the National Council on Establishment, made up of state heads of service and permanent secretaries, the take-home message is pursuance of professionalism in state's workforce.
We are here to hear more about new innovations so as to know where we are lacking.
As we emphasize on professionalism here, we hope to get back and also re-emphasize that in Akwa Ibom State.
Elder statesman Dr. Christopher Kolade may be old, but his invaluable insights into managing personnel for nation building came in handy for participants through video conferencing. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
It's time we'll go on a break. We're back, so don't go anywhere.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toro, Shangalo, Ogalekova, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one. A spear into the top corner. We Sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for him. Go for football. Go for all Syria on the Liga Martins live. Go for GoTV Max.
Thanks for being there. Rising above their traditional role in providing solutions to critical issues facing the country were some of the issues put forward to think tanks in Nigeria at a strategic meeting facilitated by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, KURU, in Abuja. Haman Jabani reports.
By the government is to review their roles and the extent to which they are relevant to policy process in the country, especially in the light of current contemporary challenges. Questions like to what extent can they formulate alternative policy choice, useful and relevant to government, and what are the ways for repositioning them for effective engagement in public policy are expected to be answered. Vice President Professor Yemi Osibanjo and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who were both represented, lead in the process.
If a think tank is not contributing to the policy debate, which is key, especially in Nigeria where we have priority areas that need to be addressed, then that think tank is not being effective. So this event becomes really critical. It's not a matter of chance, but of urgent necessity.
I assure you that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari remains very receptive to genuine inputs from our great minds that will move this country to greater heights.
And it has become necessary for all strategic think tanks to reposition themselves, to provide innovative ways of dealing with many of the challenges we face currently.
For others, the ability to work together to improve solutions based on evidence for decision-making process are key in the context of changing world. Reviewing the relevance of strategic think tanks in the country is also on the agenda. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
And to electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has commenced engagement with a broad spectrum of electoral stakeholders in its determination to make a difference in the forthcoming Bayelsa and Kogi governorship elections. Timothy Yusuf was at a policy dialogue on the Commission's preparedness for the forthcoming polls.
2 of the 4 out-of-season elections for governorship are scheduled for Kogi and Bayelsa states for November 16. Already, preparations are almost being completed, but INEC is still perfecting strategies to ensure a hitch-free poll, especially in Kogi, which has history of violence during elections.
We know what Kogi is. All the indicators are there. The early warning signs indicate that there will be violence, and we cannot overlook this.
It is something that is worrisome and needs to be tackled and nipped in the bud ahead of November 16.
With about 1.7 million registered voters and collected PVCs of about 1.5 million across 21 local government areas, INEC is engaging stakeholders to ensure that 16,132 ad hoc staff slated for the election conduct free, fair and credible governorship election.
Elections is basically a grassroots thing. So if we get it right at the local government and state level, we will get it right everywhere.
INEC resident electoral commissioners for Kogi and Niger states, Professors James Akpam and Sam Egu, are among members of the civil society organizations, academia and other experts interrogating the critical issues ahead of the election. They believed that the challenges experienced in the last general elections will be significantly minimized, if not eradicated, with adequate and enhanced smart card readers and other logistics already put in place.
What we're doing now is to recruit and train the ad hoc staff.
INEC would require to do a number of things in order to build integrity into the outcome of the November 16 election.
The policy dialogue was organized by INEC's research and training organ, known as the Electoral Institute. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Let's go to Washington, D.C. now, where the President, African Development Bank, has reiterated the need for African countries to work assiduously in ensuring the success of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Chimobi Walter Inanji reports that he made this known in Washington, D.C. on the sidelines of the just concluded annual meetings of the World Bank and IMF.
Over 700 million young people, Africa is said to be one of the fastest growing economies. However, this number also poses a threat of non-performing workforce. The African Development Bank says it is already investing in universities of science and technology and centers of excellence to prepare Africa for the challenges of the fourth industrial revolution and equip financial institutions to offer the needed funds to empower the younger generation of Africans.
So Africa must prepare people, yes, young people, for the jobs of the future, not the jobs of the past. And so when we take a look at universities, what do we find? We find that no more than 2 to 3% of universities have people that are in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
The $200 million Boost Africa Fund, he explained, will support early-stage growth of businesses in Africa, but he believes the stimulation of the creation of Youth Entrepreneurship and Investment Bank to ensure the successes of the Africa Intercontinental Free Trade Agreement.
We say that all of our projects, we want them to be mainstream to create jobs for young people and women, by the way. Right. So, and in the case of women, we have something that we call a gender marker system, where every single one of our projects are tagged.
Other efforts, including the establishment of the Women Financing Index for Africa, will help bridge the gender gap in Africa. In Washington, D.C., I'm Chimobi Walter Naji, NTA News.
And back home on promoting arts and culture, the annual National Festival of Arts and Culture, NAFES 2019, has opened in Benin, Edo State, with lots of participants from within and outside the country. The opening ceremony featured display of Benin cultural heritage, dances, march past by, participating states, as well as music and dance performance by Innocent Adibia, aka Tu Baba. The festival is expected not to only serve as a unity forum, but also provide a major economic boost and promote Nigeria's rich cultural heritage that can serve as alternative to the country's foreign direct investment.
We are ready. Edo State is hosting to win all the medals. And I want to thank you for your time. This is the home of hospitality. This is the home of culture. And culture has come back home to stay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and welcome. Aba Tokbe!
2019 will last for 1 week. And just before we go, let's do a quick check at our weather prospect for Tuesday. And that concludes the news on NTA International. Thanks for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.
Seven days a week, you can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.